It looks like ESPN has told the Big Ten to kick rocks, get stepping. The Big Ten has signed a TV agreement, reportedly. Probably going to be an announcement on this very soon. But reportedly, the Big Ten has signed a TV agreement with Fox, NBC, and CBS. And I'll give you the details on it in a second. ESPN was in on the negotiations as well. ESPN's been airing Big Ten football and basketball games since the minute ESPN came on the air. I mean, since, 1979? ESPN has been around since 1979. And they've been showing Big Ten football and basketball games the entire time. That's going to come to an end in 2024. ABC, which of course now ESPN and ABC are the same company now. They're both owned by Disney. ABC has been showing Big Ten football games since 1966. Coming to an end now. The Big Ten has partnered with Fox, mainly, and then secondary arrangements with NBC and CBS. So it looks like the way it's going to work, starting in 2024, the biggest game of the week in the Big Ten is going to be on Fox at noon. Fox will get first pick of games. So each week, Fox will look at the schedule. Whatever game they want to show, they get, and they'll show it at noon. CBS is going to get a 3:30 game, and they'll get to pick from the games that are left over. And NBC is going to get a primetime game. So you'll have a Big Ten game on at noon on Fox, a Big Ten game on at 3:30 on CBS, and a Big Ten game on at 8 o'clock at night on NBC. And, of course, Fox has other channels, too. They have FS1, FS2, so the Big Ten will be on those channels. The Big Ten will be on those channels as well. ESPN, no Big Ten. No Big Ten. So, now, no one feels sorry for ESPN. I mean, they have the SEC, they got the ACC. We'll see what they do with the Big 12 and the Pac-12. Probably going to keep those, too. So we'll see. But ESPN offered $350 million per year to the Big Ten for the rights to some of their games, and the Big Ten turned it down. It wasn't, ESPN wasn't competing against Fox. Fox had already secured what they call the A game. In other words, it had already been decided and agreed to that Fox is going to get the first pick of the games. ESPN was negotiating for second and third tier games, which is what NBC and CBS ended up getting. The second pick of games, the third pick of games, the fourth pick of games, that kind of thing. Fox is going to keep the first pick. So ESPN offered $350 million. The Big Ten wanted more. So ESPN decided to just walk away. So you'll have the SEC all over ESPN and ABC, right? That's going to be it's just going to be strange. I've been watching the Big Ten, particularly on ABC, as long as I can remember. In the primetime game, every week there's a primetime game on ABC, right? And it's almost always been a Big Ten game. And that's going away in 2024. I guess it's going to be most likely an SEC game is going to be the ABC primetime game that comes on 7:30 or 8 o'clock every Saturday night, right? And then, of course, you'll have other SEC games over on the ESPN channels, on SEC Network, ESPN2, ESPNU, all that. In addition to all the other conferences that ESPN will have agreements with, the ACC, most likely the Big 12 and the Pac-12 as well. So it's interesting. I wonder how this is going to affect College Game Day. Or if it'll affect it at all. Game Day, now, it's not going to affect anything for this year because, the Big Ten is still operating under its current TV agreement this season. And next season, for that matter. So you're still going to have Big Ten games on ABC, primetime this season and next season. These new TV arrangements don't go into effect until 2024. So like this year, week 1, College Game Day has already said they're going to be at Ohio State. Notre Dame plays at Ohio State. So Game Day will be there, and the game will be on ABC that night, right? But I'm wondering what's going to happen down the road when there are no Big Ten games on ESPN. Is ESPN going to choose not to do College Game Day at any Big Ten games? Michigan, Ohio State at the end of the year, or Ohio State, Penn State, when they're ranked in the top 10. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good Big Ten games every single year. And Game Day does multiple games at Big Ten games every single year. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to affect what ESPN does with College Game Day going forward or not. Maybe Game Day will say, well, you know what? We're just going to go to games in conferences that we have a TV relationship with, the SEC, ACC, maybe the Big 12 or the Pac-12, that they're redoing their contracts coming up here pretty soon. So we'll see. But very interesting. Very interesting, the whole kind of ESPN versus Fox thing, right? You've got like the Big Ten, aligning themselves with Fox. The SEC obviously aligning themselves with ESPN. And so you've got this SEC versus Big Ten narrative that's been around really since conference expansion started last summer with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC. And then this summer, Southern Cal and UCLA announcing they're going to the Big Ten. You've had this kind of SEC versus Big Ten narrative that's been out there. And now, you're going to have ESPN versus Fox. I'm curious, because you know how everybody says, oh, the SEC is only good because, ESPN bias and ESPN props them up. I wonder if we're going to start saying that. Are people going to start saying that about the Big Ten now? The Big Ten is only good because you got that agreement with Fox. Yeah, I know Ohio State recruits in the top 5 every year and puts 1 million players in the NFL and makes the playoffs and wins a bunch of conference titles and averages 12 wins a year. And I know they're really good, but you think it's just because of Fox? I wonder if we're going to hear that same dried up dribble about the Big Ten that we've been hearing about the SEC. Playoffs. This is another interesting thing that kind of ties into this whole TV battle deal, right? When the playoffs started in 2014, ESPN won the rights to broadcast those playoffs, right? They won the bid, whatever. So both playoff games and the national championship game have been broadcast on ESPN every single year, and they'll continue to be broadcast on ESPN every single year until the current TV deal runs out in, what a coincidence, 2024. If you notice, all this stuff is changing in 2024, right? So, I don't know. It's going to change. Whether you're going to go to 6 teams, 8 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams, playoffs, right? Forget that for a second. What channel are these games going to be on, right? That's going to be the next argument that occurs between the SEC and the Big Ten, ESPN, and Fox, right? Everyone's going to want to broadcast those playoff games. So I don't know what they're going to do to settle that or resolve that. All the conferences have to agree on whatever playoff structure we go to. And there are some conferences out there that are not going to agree to any playoff structure going forward where all the games are broadcast on just one channel. There's just going to be some conferences that aren't going to agree with that. And I don't blame them, to be honest with you. I mean, why is it that ESPN should get to broadcast every college football playoff game and no other network should even be able to bid on it, right? I know, anytime I talk about the NFL, people get triggered, but there are some things the NFL gets right, I guess. But, like, playoff games in the NFL come on different channels. One conference comes on one channel, another conference comes on another channel. The NFL's been like that forever. And it looks like that's kind of where college football is headed. You're going to have the Big Ten on Fox. You're going to have the SEC on ESPN. Well, then when you get to the playoffs, how are you going to hash that out? What if Georgia is slated to play Ohio State in a playoff game? What channel gets to broadcast that, right? I think they're going to split the playoffs up. I think Fox will get some. I think ESPN will get some. And as far as the national championship goes, again, the NFL rotates. So, the Super Bowl might be on CBS this year. Next year it might be on Fox. Year after that it might be on NBC. It rotates. Probably going somewhere like that with the playoffs too. With the way all these new TV rights agreements and deals are being structured and laid out now. So Lots changing. Now, this doesn't necessarily affect the game of football, really, does it? Does it matter? If I watch a football game on ESPN or I watch the same football game on Fox, isn't it the same football game I'm watching? In other words, does it really matter to me what channel the game is on? No, it doesn't matter to me at all. In fact, I mean, you guys know how I watch football with all these TVs in here, but and they're all muted. Like, I don't even listen to the volume when I watch football games. The volume is off on every TV in here. I'm just watching. I honestly could care less what channel a game comes on. So whatever they do with the playoffs, it doesn't matter to me. ESPN or the SEC. I happen to be a fan of an SEC team. The SEC happened to have a deal with ESPN. Great. I don't care. It wouldn't bother me if it was the other way around. I wouldn't care if the SEC had a deal with Fox. Then I'd just watch Georgia play on Fox. Like, it just, that part of it doesn't really affect my football experience. What channel the game is on just doesn't affect me at all. Now, sort of the wrinkle that could get added to some of this stuff with these TV deals is streaming packages. There's a lot of talk about Amazon and Apple trying to get in on the live college football game. You know, they want to buy the rights to be able to live stream college football games. Well, there's 50 different streaming services. There's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Amazon Prime, there's Paramount Plus, there's the Peacock Network, there's Apple TV. I don't want to have to go out and sign up to 25 different streaming services to watch college football games. I won't do that. I don't want to do. That I don't want to do. So I don't know how that's going to work. You know, are there going to be, if I want to watch Big Ten games streaming, I have to have Apple TV. But if I want to watch Pac-12 streaming games, I've got to have Amazon TV. Or if I want to watch the Big 12, I've got to have Hulu. I hope that's not the way it goes. You know, one of the whole points of the whole cutting the cord thing to go to a streaming service, which I have YouTube TV, is to save money over some of these cable bills. But if you end up having to subscribe to 25 different streaming services, you're going to be paying more. We're going to be paying more than we were paying before. So I don't know how that's going to affect it, right? The main games will still be on TV. So, like, you take the Big Ten's deal. Fox is going to get their first pick of games. It'll be on at noon. CBS picks next. They get their game at 3:30. NBC picks next after that. Their game goes on at 7:30. But then the 4th and 5th and 6th games, you could find yourself in a situation where the 4th, 5th, and 6th best games of the week in the Big Ten, for example, are only on Hulu. And if you don't have Hulu, you can't watch. Well, now you got to go sign up for Hulu. Well, ESPN may do the same thing. They may say, well, we're going to put the top 5 SEC games of the week on our channels at all these different times. But if you want to watch Vandy versus Mizzou, well, you got to have Apple TV. Well, then you can sign up for Apple TV. So I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know how that's going to. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out with these streaming services trying to get in on the action here with live college football. But anyway, the ESPN and the Big Ten ending a very, very, very long relationship, if you include ABC in that, which, of course, ABC and ESPN, same company, both owned by Disney. Been airing Big Ten football games since 1966, and starting in 2024, no more Big Ten on ABC or ESPN. What are you going to do?